Hello again, everyone, and it's time for yet another episode of Notes from the Pastor Cave. And this is actually not that you would know it if I didn't tell you, but this is actually Pastor Cave Weekend Edition because once again we've just been so busy that these are getting shoved back during the week, and that's just kind of the way that it is right now. So don't forget, we need subscribers. If you're just seeing this for the first time, or you've been watching but you haven't subscribed yet, we need more subscribers, and we need more and more and more subscribers, and so that we can just really begin to make even more of this surprisingly is making an impact. I'm hearing from people all the time about this, but the more people subscribe, the more impact we can make. So just please keep that in mind. Go ahead and do it like right now, and then you won't have to remember to do it afterwards. And so we have been in Exodus chapter 25, and I think there's something that's very interesting that's evolved out of this whole study, really from the time of the Ten Commandments onward, because we talked about how the commandments, which would be chapter 20 or 21. Chapter 20, and we're in chapter 25 now. How the commandments have a tendency to grab all of our focus, and in a manner of speaking, suck all the air out of the room, so that you are not as you're reading along, they become kind of this dominant feature. And understandably so. I'm not criticizing that. It just happens to do that. And yet, in the midst of these commandments are all these relational references. And so, there's a difference between just rules and laws and doing something because you are being loving and respectful in a relationship. And this brings up over and over again, and of course the entire Old Testament does, but brings up over and over again the covenantal relationship of God and the individual, or God and his people. That God is a God who's willing, wants to make covenants with people. And so the giving of the Ten Commandments, the giving of the law, is actually just part of a covenantal relationship that we are to have with God. In other words, you're not justified. I mean, this comes out very strongly in the New Testament. You're not justified by just keeping the law. Okay, I got the Ten Commandments and I'm keeping them even if you could, I'm keeping them perfectly. That would not replace the need for a covenantal relationship with God. And so rather than just reading the commandments as a list of rules, we can read them like this: because I'm in relationship with God, I'm not going to have any other gods before me. Because I'm in a relationship with God, I'm not going to make any graven images. Because I'm in a relationship, because I'm in a covenantal relationship with God, I'm not going to commit adultery. Because I'm in a covenantal relationship with God, I'm not going to steal. See how that changes everything? See, that changes the whole perspective. And that really carries over to what we talked about last time, this idea that in a new covenant sense, we have sorry, a little note popped up in the corner. I had to look at it for a second. Within this covenantal relationship, as we surrender our lives to Christ, what is portrayed as the ark of the covenant in the Old Testament, each of us has an ark, a space, a box within us, in which God wants to sit on that throne above the mercy seat in every one of us. These matters of the law and these matters of the symbolism that's presented in the Old Testament now become matters of the heart. And so, I talked, through the whole time last time, is this idea that we have these memories, these things that happen in our lives, these stories, this story of our lives within our covenantal relationship with God. So I'm in relationship with God. Things are going to happen as I journey through life, as I journey from Egypt, the Egypt of my life, the slavery of my life, as I journey from there, and I head towards the land of promise, the promises of God in my life, that we're going to hit rough patches. We're going to have difficult times. We're going to have times when there doesn't look like there's any food. It looks like there's times when there's not going to be any water. There's going to be times when it looks like the Egyptian army is going to come crashing down on top of us. And it's in those moments that God gives us story. He gives us, or biblical term, testimony. Okay, so we take that testimony and we put it in the ark, just like God wanted them to put symbols, reminders of the times He had carried them through, the times He had intervened, the times that He had done these wondrous things within that covenantal relationship that He had with His people. And so we're supposed to do the same thing. And it allows us to do the same thing too, where we are now able to look back on our lives and we can say, yeah, boy, I remember when that happened and God got me through. And wow, I remember when that other thing happened and it was just a miracle that we made it through that. And that by the time you reach the end of your life, you have all of these areas in which God has intervened in your life and has done great things in your life, and you have them all saved up, in this box here inside of you. And just to carry that a little further today, when you get to verse 21 of Exodus 25, it says this, and you shall put the mercy seat, so he talks about the ark and the building of the ark, which is essentially, just think gold box if you want to. You shall put the mercy seat on top of the ark, and in the ark you shall put the testimony that I shall give you. So I'm going to give you testimonies. In other words, I'm going to give you stories of our relationship. And those stories are always going to end with me doing something great because I'm God and I love you. Okay, so in the ark you shall put the testimony that I shall give you. And then verse 22, there I will meet with you, and from above the mercy seat, from between the two cherubim that are on the ark of the testimony, I will speak with you about all that I will give you in commandment for the people of Israel. There is a beautiful and remarkable picture taking place here. Okay, so here's all my stories. Here's all my testimonies. Here are all the times in my covenantal relationship with God in which God has carried me through. God carries you through every day. Understand that. But there are these special times where we make special memories. And we take them and put them in the ark of our lives. Put them in the ark of our inner selves and carry them in there, okay? And then above that is what? Just above that is the mercy of God. It's called the mercy seat, right? It could be, it could be all kinds of different. God could have called it the love seat. He could have called it the judgment. Well, there will be a judgment seat, but he could have called it the grace seat. He doesn't. He calls it the mercy seat. Okay, so riding above all of these stories, riding above all these testimonies, riding above all of these memories is the mercy of God. And is that mercy that carries us through each day and carries us through even the times in which we don't, we're not sure if we're going to make it or not. So so there's the relationship right there. There's what God has done in our lives. Just above that is the reminder of His mercy. And it's in that place that God says, I'm going to meet with you. I'm going to meet with you. You ever wonder, what's the exact right attitude in which to meet with God? Well, how about remembering in thankfulness and praise and prayer? How about remembering all the great things, remembering the testimony of all that God has done for me, and then remembering that on top of that is God's great mercy, and that's the place where God meets with us and speaks with us. Powerful, powerful moment there, just in God describing how He wants the inner part of that sanctuary to be. So that's it for today. A little bit faster than usual. We're only just into the 11th minute. Maybe give you a little bit of a break. And so I will see you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell and make comments and hit the like thing. All of that helps. And so Vita Brevis Gloria Eterna. Life is short, but glory is eternal.